Now, I'm sure most of you have heard of skin cancer, but how do you know you're at risk? Well, we'll be getting advice from Nick Sinclair from Surface Imaging Solutions, who is behind us with Alexis, and he'll be performing a digital skin analysis. Right, but first of all, we're going to be talking to Barbara Jemick, a consultant plastic and reconstructive and hand surgeon who is going to tell us exactly what skin cancer is. Well, it's really nice to have you on the show, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
Now, obviously, from the footage that we shot out in New Zealand, there were a lot of positive comments about people protecting themselves from the sun. Yep. It seemed that New Zealanders were quite knowledgeable about protecting themselves. I mean, you don't really get too much sun in the UK. I mean, how dangerous is the sun here?
Now, we get plenty of sun here, and actually anywhere on the earth you should be careful about sun exposure. It doesn't matter that we think that we get less here. You get sun if you have a rainy day, a cloudy day, there are still rays from the sun which are dangerous. So you should wear sun protection every single day.
It seems to be there's a little bit of confusion and lack of knowledge around UVA and UVB. I mean, can you just tell us a little bit about what is each one of them?
Okay. Basically, the sun has actually three kinds of rays: UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVA has the longest wavelength, so it penetrates the deepest. It's also the main tanning ray of the sun. It is also the ray that gives you brown spots, aging spots. It's the one that gives you wrinkles because it destroys the elastin and the collagen in the skin and therefore promotes wrinkles. We used to think that it doesn't really have a carcinogenic potential or a potential to induce skin tumors, but now we know it has. UVB has got a little bit of a shorter wavelength, and that doesn't penetrate as deeply, and that's the thing that causes you sunburn and redness in the skin, and that has two main actions. It is both immunosuppressive and it's highly carcinogenic. If
you look at a couple of these bottles here, I mean, this one says water resistant and photostable. Now it says 15 SPF. Yeah. This one's a 50.
Sure. Okay, personally I wear the 50 plus. Okay. If I go anywhere on a beach or anywhere to a hot country, on a daily basis I always wear 15. The SPF means that I can be in the sun for 15 times longer than I could otherwise before I burn. 50 means 50 times more. Yep. I can see that this one has got both UVA and UVB protection, and today we know that we need to protect ourselves from both of those. Okay. If you look at, if I may give you an example, for instance, tanning beds. You know, now we're talking inside, there's no sun at all, but tanning beds has got a 12-time increase of UVA rays than the sun, and that's obviously not normal. It'll also give you a 2.5 increased risk of getting a skin cancer in your lifetime.
Wow. I think that's why a lot of people, obviously we've seen through newspapers and magazines, there is a lot of negativity around sunbeds.
Absolutely. No, if you start using them very young, your rate of malignant melanoma, which is one of the biggest killers in skin cancers, it accounts for only 5% of skin cancers, but accounts for 80% of the skin cancer deaths will be increased up to tenfold if you start using a tanning bed early on. Yeah. So just don't do it, please.
Well, I'm a big believer. I'm a water baby myself back in New Zealand, and I always wore sunscreen out in the water. But because I've been over in the UK for so long, my skin's got obviously a little bit sensitive, so I decided to go out in the water fully protected, as you can see. Almost drowned because I had so many clothes on, but obviously I'm back here safe and sound. But also, I suppose this is out of the question these days.
Well, you're going to look like a sausage, so yeah, definitely.
Good old cooking oil. We've been really lucky today also to have Nick Sinclair over here, who's got someone that he's going to take us through a little bit about how he's imaging their skin, looking at their sun damage. And we took some photos of myself as well, so we can compare the difference from someone in New Zealand versus someone in the UK, I suppose. So let's go and have a look.
I see.
I can see you're busy here taking photos of Alexis. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening here? What's the process? This is a skin analysis tool, isn't it?
It is. It's a complexion analysis we are taking digital photographs, high-resolution digital photographs, and applying a computer program to do the analysis. 4 of them, as you can see here, are on the surface of the skin, because that's what we see the most of.
Yep.
And 4 of them are below the surface of the skin. It's a little bit like when you go to the dentist. You know, they can see what's on the surface, but they also take an X-ray because they want to know what's going on underneath.
Great.
And today we've been talking about particularly sun damage. And of course, the sun damage will manifest itself on the surface of the skin, but as we can see here with Alexei, there is a great deal of damage both presented on the surface but below the surface of the skin as well.
I mean, it looks an amazing tool. I think, you know, you were saying there's obviously clinics, plastic surgeons, cosmetic clinics all around the country that have these camera systems.
Correct. An annual skin analysis is a very good thing. It gives you a baseline, as I said, to start with. You look at various treatments. Obviously, things change over the course of time. So minimum once a year, a bit like going to the dentist once a year, that's important because after all, we want to keep ourselves in as good a condition as possible for as long as possible.
Right, Nick, have you got any results for us?
I do. Here we go.
Great. Well, I'll talk to Barbara and see if it's all positive.